Hello? Officers, the reason I stopped you is you guys are all over the road. Okay, you're driving over the median. When I stopped you, you ran over the curb.
I wasn't trying to run over the curb or nothing, that, sir. I got a treaty in with the United States. You know what I'm saying?
What's that?
Hey, babe. I just let you know I got pulled over right here coming off Western McCall that I'm on the phone with. Hey, could you call the sheriff department? I need the sheriff department here.
Why?
For the duty of the state, because, you know what I'm saying, I got a treaty in.
Do me a favor, turn your car off.
Yeah. Can I get the sheriff department on the scene?
No, because this is not their jurisdiction, this is my jurisdiction.
Yeah, I know, but I want to call the sheriff. Call 911, bro. Dial the sheriff. I need Tommy Ford here.
Okay, turn the car off.
No contact with the state.
Okay. I also smell marijuana in the car.
Yeah, I smoke hemp and all that. I don't got no contract with the state.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I don't want a contract. If you want to call the supervisor what's in the best interest of the corporation.
We're not doing that right now.
You gonna call your supervisor?
I don't need to right now.
Yes, I need a supervisor on the scene, sir. I got my family on the phone and all. I want to just talk to the sheriff department, and that's all I'm trying to talk to Tommy Ford. We dialed 911 so we could call to get the sheriffs on the scene to make sure this go right according to the Constitution. Because I have a treaty in, and this hostility towards the treaty.
No, that's not how it's going.
That is what it is. Hey,
no.
Can I get a sheriff on the line to the scene here? Is
2022 family. Be advised, he's calling 911.
Where are you? I'm right here on the scene with a black and white police officer, and I just want a sheriff here on the scene. I have a
I don't know where you are. Where are you?
I'm off of Beach Drive.
I need an address.
Right now, sir, can you tell me the address here?
You're on Beach and Fairland.
Beach and Fairland. Can I get a sheriff here?
Beach and Fairland?
Yeah, I just want to get a sheriff. Yeah, on the scene.
Do you have your driver's license on you?
I don't have a contract with the state.
All right, that's fine.
You know what I'm saying? I don't identify myself and nothing. I just.
All right. You don't want to identify yourself?
I want to identify myself.
Do me a favor, step out of the vehicle.
This is what I'm telling you, sir. I don't mind identifying myself, but I'm telling you this is what I'm saying is that I don't have no contract with the state.
That's fine. I only see your driver's license.
There you go. What's that?
You're on a traffic stop with a city and police officer?
Yeah, and I'm asking for a supervisor, and he said he's not going to get one.
Okay.
And I asked for a sheriff, so can I get a sheriff or something to come make sure that everything go right according to my constitutional right, and that I have a treaty in with the state. My name is Josiah Beecham. I have a treaty in with the United States.
Josiah, where's your driver's license?
I'm a traveler, sir. I don't.
Okay, go ahead and step out of the vehicle.
Sir, I don't want a contract and step out of the vehicle. I want to respect my rights, ma'am. He's trying to get me the contract and step out of the vehicle. I want to just get a serve here. Hey, sir,
step out of the vehicle.
Sir, I don't want to. Hey, under duress, I will.
Step out of the vehicle.
Under duress, I will follow your orders. You hear me?
Let's go.
Under duress,
get out of the vehicle, Josiah.
I do not want a contract.
Josiah, get out of the vehicle.
Under duress, I will follow your orders. Do you hear me?
Get out of the vehicle.
Under duress.
Let's go.
Under duress.
Get out of the vehicle.
Under duress, I'm following your orders, sir. I'm following your orders. Under duress.
The car. I pulled him out because he pretty much was saying that he's not going to cooperate. He's not a driver. He's a traveler. And at that point, I was okay. We're done. I don't know what these are.
There's more weed in there. I wouldn't even say that. I don't even know. You know, my brother just don't. You know, I work at school every day.
Sergeant, over there.
Yep.
Can I speak with him?
Yep. Right now, he's helping me look at all the stuff that's in your car.
All right. What did he say?
What's up?
What did he say?
He just wants to talk to my sergeant. Is it real?
Hey, yeah. Need a bag?
You're gonna need a bunch of bags.
Underneath the seat. I'm running.
I got it.
Well.
Yeah. He's on inmate release for distro.
Huh.
So,
Well, there's a few bags for you.
this was in his pocket. 2022 Panama.
Hey, sir, I don't want you to commit this fraud on me. I don't want to have a project for bad, sir.
23 real quick. Hey, are you gonna provide a sample of your urine? Yeah, you. You do not want to provide a sample of your urine?
I did any contract. You committing fraud right now, and I don't want you to do it. It's not in the best interest of the
Alright, so you don't want to provide a sample of your urine?
No, sir, I'm not.
Alright, I gotta read you something.
I heard you came over here and using the wrist. Hostility between the treaty that arrested me without even reading or writing nothing for an unarrestable offense.
Hold on, I gotta read you something.
Statute.
Okay.
You committing fraud, sir, and that's gonna hit you in your personal capacity. Okay, sir, so you're gonna commit this fraud. It's cool. That's what you wanna do. I said under duress, I'm cooperating. I do not want to contract with you or your corporation.
There is no contracts. Right now, you're under arrest.
Yeah, I understand that. I see. I'm detained and cuffed. I know.
Oh, you're not just detained. You're actually under arrest.
I understand. I see. And without ever being read my rights or anything.
I don't have any questions for you other than this implied consent. I'm going to read you.
Yeah, it's the fact of the matter that you acting hostility towards the treaty for no reason.
Okay, I am now requesting you submit to a lawful test of your urine for the purpose of determining the presence of chemical or controlled substances. Will you take the test?
What are you talking about right now? I don't
Will you provide a sample of your urine?
Putting the gun in the back.
Okay. Alright, if you refuse to take the test I requested of you, your driving privilege will be suspended for a period of 1 year for first refusal, or 18 months if your driving privilege has been previously suspended, or if you've been previously fined under statute 327.35215 for refusing to submit to a lawful test of your breath, urine, or blood. Additionally, if you refuse to take the test I have requested of you and your driving privilege has been previously suspended, or if you have been previously fined under statute 327.35215 for a refusal to submit to lawful test of your breath, urine, or blood, you'll be committing a misdemeanor in addition to any other penalties which can be imposed by law. Refusal to submit to the test I've requested is admissible into evidence in any criminal proceeding. Do you understand what I just read to you?
You are committing fraud, sir.
Okay, do you still refuse to take the test?
I'm under the assumption you are committing
Okay.
fraud. Can I get your name, sir?
It's going to be on the paperwork
But why won't you tell me so I can just get it?
because you have nothing to write my name on.
But I mean, I would have remembered it's going to be on your body cam, but I
Alright, yep.
there.
Okay.
Left there. So can you say it?
Officer Ziff.
Cooperate under the risk. I ain't want to cooperate in contract with your agency. I know what's going on.
I know. You told me you had a treaty with the
Yeah,
United
I
States.
understand, sir. It's all good.
All right, we're gonna move you to another car, and then I'll let you talk to your wife real quick through the window, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, slide on out for us. We're just gonna make sure you ain't got nothing else on you. All right? You don't have anything on you that we don't know about, right? Anything that's gonna hurt us? Any drugs or any contraband or anything like that?
Oh man, I got this off of God's green earth, man. That's it.
Okay.
Every man, I got love in my heart, man. I don't commit crimes.
Okay.
Same thing y'all do. I'm about protecting and serving all the people from the criminals of the world.
Gotcha.
That's it. But these insurance policies, these fraudulent false insurance policies, and officers snatching people out of their car, violating their rights who ain't committed no crimes or injured or hurt nobody or nothing. I ain't did nothing to nobody under God. You know what I mean?
All right, come on over here.
Because I know what's going on. I believe in the same thing y'all believe in. I mean, there ain't no criminal, man. Yes, sir. That's all under arrest in the corporation, sir.
Good?
Yes, sir. I was just trying to straighten up my pants.
So are you transporting him then?
Yeah, I'm taking him to jail.
Okay. All right. He had all
the drugs.
All the drugs. Yeah.
Okay, let me roll down my window.
Go ahead and get out of here, sir. Can you get out of here?
Yeah.
I'll send it to the truck so he's done.
We're on the record. State of Florida versus U.S.A.R. Marquez Beecham, case number 23CF4175. Mr. Beecham is present, dressed in his jail clothes. Assistant State Attorney Frank Sloan is present. We're set for a trial today.
Mr. Sullivan, whenever you're ready. Thank you, Your Honor. May call your first witness. I'm sorry, take your oath in a second. Thank you.
November 11th, 2023, this defendant, Josiah Beecham, was found by Officer Richard Ziff of the Panama City Police Department to be in possession of a trafficking amount of methamphetamine as well as a quantity of cocaine. You're going to hear from Officer Richard Ziff today. He's going to tell you that on November 11th, 2023, the defendant was driving along Beach Drive, not far from here, when the officer conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle that the defendant was driving. He made contact with the defendant, and during the course of this traffic stop, ultimately ended up searching the car. When he searched the car, he also searched Mr. Beecham's person, and he's going to tell you what he found. He's going to tell you that in the back seat, just behind the driver's seat, within reach of the driver, was Mr. Beecham. He found a couple containers. In one container, there were several white powdery substances in baggies. In another container, there was another similar powder in baggies. And there were these pill-like substances that were ultimately sent to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and determined to be methamphetamine. What you're going to hear is that the one substance in one of those containers was sent to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, tested positive for cocaine. And you're going to hear from the analyst today. His name is Sam Catalani. He's going to tell you about that. He's going to tell you that not only did he find that these substances were methamphetamine and cocaine, but the methamphetamine in this case actually weighed 15 grams, which is above the threshold for trafficking that we talked about on Monday, which was 14 grams. You're also going to hear from Officer Richard Ziff that the one container that held the multiple baggies of the white powder that was found with the cocaine and the methamphetamine, the officer, when he searched Mr. Beecham's person in his front right pocket, he found the exact same baggie, the exact same powder in that as well. Mr. Beecham told you Monday during jury selection when we talked about possession that there's a knowledge element. And he's correct, there is. In this particular case, the evidence that you will have that Mr. Beecham had knowledge of the substances in the back seat is because he had that exact same thing in his pocket as well. And you're going to hear that from Officer Ziff. This is not going to take all day. This is not a complex case. It's pretty simple. Those are the two witnesses I expect you to hear from today. And then after you hear all the evidence, the judge will give you the law. He'll read you the instructions and tell you what I have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt for you to find the defendant guilty. After you've heard all the evidence in this case, there won't be any reasonable doubt that the defendant's guilty of these charges. And at that time, I'm going to come back before you, and I'm going to ask you to find the defendant guilty as charged. Thank you.
Mr. Beecham.
Excuse my time, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't able to make bail, couldn't afford it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury today, you merely heard the related allegations from the prosecutor. And as he said, it's not my duty to prove my innocence, but the state's duty to prove my guilt beyond a reasonable doubt by meeting every element of the case. And the elements of this case, like he said, is to have the knowledge and the dominion and control over the drugs. You'll hear allegations also as well from the police officer. As y'all heard Your Honor speak today, we're in the age of technology. And there's plenty of technology exists, such as body-worn cameras that the police have, that the police actually had on them. And the body-worn cameras, along with the actual evidence that was presented, does not prove me guilty of anything. It actually proved my innocence. The officer in this case, as the state already knows and admitted, did commit false statements.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain. You're going, Mr.
And well, yeah, the officer in this case is going to make allegations that can't be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. And a camera would easily prove anything to anybody and show what happened. But as far as an allegation, as well as a charging document and submitted evidence, would actually prove the allegations better. And so today you're going to see evidence probably presented from the state, and the witnesses will come in to testify. And I want to give you, I'll let you guys see a copy of or hear the testimony of the state and the witnesses, but actual documented evidence that was documented into evidence. You'll see I actually had no drugs on me, as well as the video footage. There was no drugs on me, so the officer just, made that statement up. But out of multiple officers that were on the scene, but only one's coming. So that'll be all for the day right now, and I thank you guys for coming over here today.
Mr. Sov, you may call your first witness.
Sov Cit calls Richard Ziff.
Swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. You can have a seat. Speaking to the microphone, and Mr. Sullivan, you may inquire whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, sir.
Morning.
Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Officer Richard Ziff, Panama City PD.
How long have you worked for the Panama City Police Department?
2 years.
And where did you work previously to that?
Garfield County Sheriff's Office in Colorado and El Paso County Sheriff's Office in Colorado.
And how long were you a law enforcement officer in Colorado for?
It was all law enforcement from 2013 to 2022 in Colorado.
I want to take you to, well, before we get to that, what are your general duties with the Panama City Police Department? What do you do?
I patrol the city, respond to calls for service. I'm drive around, be proactive, prevent crimes, deter crimes, make arrests, interact with the citizens of Panama City.
As part of your job duties, do you routinely do traffic stops and things of that nature?
I do.
We'll take you to November 11th of 2023. Did you conduct a traffic stop on that date?
I did.
Where was that traffic stop? Where was that located at?
It was going to ended up on Fairland Avenue and West Beach Drive.
And what was the basis for conducting that traffic stop?
When I turned on to West Beach Drive from Balboa, I witnessed a vehicle in front of me that was having a hard time maintaining its lane. Eventually, the vehicle started drifting over the traffic control device, which is the center median solid lines. So at that point, I activated my overhead blue lights to initiate the traffic stop on the vehicle, with the vehicle coming to a stop on West Beach Drive and Fairland Avenue while it was, when it came to a stop, it actually drove over the curb.
Median traffic control device, you're talking about the yellow lines?
Yes.
Ultimately, when you conducted the traffic stop, did you make contact with the driver?
I did.
Were you able to determine who the driver was?
It was Mr. Josiah Beecham.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you identify him?
He's to my right.
Let the record reflect that he said the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
When you made contact with Mr. Beecham, did you do your standard license registration, all that kind of stuff?
I introduced myself as Officer Ziff, Panama City PD, told him the nature for the stop, which is because he was having a hard time maintaining his lane, and immediately told him as well that I detected the odor of marijuana coming from within the vehicle.
Ultimately, as a result of this traffic stop, did you end up searching the vehicle?
I did because I developed probable cause to search it after I had plain smell of marijuana.
Did you also ultimately end up searching Mr. Beecham's person himself?
I did.
I want to talk a little bit about what you found. Those photographs accurately depict what you found when you searched the vehicle and Mr. Beecham's person.
Yes,
Were you wearing a body camera when all of this happened?
I was.
And was your body camera on at some point in time?
Yes,
At some point in time, did your body camera get turned off?
it did. When I pulled him out of the vehicle, his elbow hit my body cam and deactivated it.
When you pulled him out of the vehicle, and attempted to put him in handcuffs and detain him, correct?
Yes,
Was Mr. Beecham cooperative in that process, I guess?
no,
Did he struggle a little bit?
yes,
And during that struggle, is that when your body camera got turned off?
yes.
At some point in time, did you realize your body camera was on or it was off and turn it back on?
Yes, the moment I realized it was off, I immediately turned it back on and informed my supervisor that body cam got turned off.
And by the time that you had realized it and turned it back on, had you already begun searching?
Yes,
Had you already found the items that we've already talked about?
yes,
So your body camera footage doesn't actually capture you searching the vehicle or searching Mr. Beecham?
unfortunately, no.
Your Honor, I've got no further questions at this time.
Mr. Beecham.
So made the traffic stop, and when you made this traffic stop and approached the vehicle, how many occupants was in the vehicle?
It was you and Mr. Wheeler.
2 occupants.
Yes,
Did I challenge you in any manner or ask for any, challenge the reason why you stopped?
You challenged me as far as why I stopped you, my authority to stop you, and you immediately wanted me to have Bay County Sheriff's Office arrive on scene because you did not want to speak with me. You also stated that I was violating the treaty between you and the state of Florida several times.
So I asked you to call the sheriff, right?
Yes,
And then after you said this is not the sheriff's jurisdiction, then I also asked you to call your supervisor.
yes,
Okay. And calling backup is a safe concern for multiple individuals, and it's easier for more officers to contain and see more people, right?
right.
All right. At a preliminary hearing, you testified as well.
Objection, Your Honor, proper impeachment.
Sustained.
I'm not talking about the false allegations, Your Honor.
I have to rephrase your question.
At the point when you removed me from the vehicle, did you have eyes on the passenger?
I lost eyes on him because I had to focus on you, and my officer safety involved me having to safely remove you from the vehicle.
The drugs were allegedly found in what type of?
A clear plastic baggie that was located in a backpack behind your seat.
Is that a brown bag?
No, they were in a clear, each of them were wrapped in clear plastic baggies in a backpack behind the driver's seat.
Well, in your narrative,
Objection, Your Honor, proper
at the
impeachment.
preliminary hearing,
Sustained. It's improper impeachment. You have to rephrase your question.
okay, did you ever testify that they were in a brown bag, or write in your narrative that they were in a brown bag?
It stated they were in a bag.
And all the collected items were seized and documented in the evidence, right?
Yes,
And the evidence that you submitted, what all was found in that brown bag? Would you relate that to the court?
there was the 2 items in front of me, and then there was bags individually wrapped that contained a green leafy substance that had the odor, distinct odor of marijuana, and it was individually wrapped as well.
Was that all that was found?
There was these items and the white powdery substance as well. And there's also the oxy.
Now, all the evidence you guys collected, you You said the body camera wasn't on when you found any of it.
No, because your elbow hit me on my body cam, deactivated my body cam. So when I initiated the stop, immediately my body cam turned on. When Mr. Beecham refused to come out of the car, I had to remove him from the car, and because he was not cooperative with me, I swung him around the car to put him against it to control him. His left elbow went into my body cam button, deactivating my body cam.
Okay, and you said my car. Was that actually my car?
It was your girlfriend's car.
It was a girl car.
Your girlfriend, she showed up on scene, told us that she was your girlfriend. You even told us on scene that it was your girlfriend.
Okay, just making sure it wasn't my actual car.
That's the next one.
I'll have an answer to the question. Let's move on.
And you said you lost sight of the passenger, and you didn't get these items analyzed for any fingerprints to prove that they were actually mine.
No.
So a field test kit will prove what the drug is, and you said you field tested the pills here as well. What did they field test come back as?
I don't need to field test the pills. The pills had identifying or numbers on them. The oxycodone.
No, not those, the colorful ones that's in the exhibit.
Oh, these ones? The exhibit number 3?
Yes.
So those tested positive for fentanyl, but the lab came back as meth.
So the field test is not always accurate, right?
Not always, but these items did come back from FDLE.
Okay, exactly. And so that's why I don't think it's proper police work to mix the drugs. That's called co-mingling.
If you want to change our policies, you can come to the Panama City Police Department.
You just answered the question instead of giving a narrative.
It's our policy.
It's the policy to mix the drugs on the scene.
That's the answer, Your Honor.
Staying, move on.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I told you earlier this morning, in a few moments, the judge will give you the law that will apply to the evidence that you've heard. I also told you this wasn't a complex case. It's pretty simple. Things may have gotten a little confusing earlier. I'm going to attempt to try to clarify some of that for you real quick. But like I told you, I have to prove 3 things beyond a reasonable doubt, count 1. The first thing that I have to prove is that the defendant knowingly possessed the substance. Second thing I have to prove is that that substance was methamphetamine. And the third thing I have to prove is that methamphetamine weighed more than 14 grams. The real issue in this case is that first thing, whether the defendant possessed the substance. I don't think that there's any dispute that these items are methamphetamine and that it weighs 15 grams, more than 14. You heard that testimony from the FDLE analyst, Sam Catalani, and I don't think Mr. Beecham's even disputing that part. The question in this case is whether he knowingly possessed this item. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Count 2, I have to prove 2 things beyond a reasonable doubt: that the defendant knowingly possessed a substance, that's this substance here, and that the second item that I have to prove is that this substance was cocaine. Again, you heard that testimony from Sam Catalani. This is in fact cocaine, and I don't think Mr. Beecham's even disputing that. That's not the issue. The issue, like count 1, is whether Mr. Beecham possessed this substance. So I want to talk about that issue, because that's really what we're here for today. Is did Mr. Beecham possess these 2 items? You heard the testimony that these 2 items were found located in a backpack in the back seat within reach of Mr. Beecham being the driver. They were also located in, the reason I have it up on the screen, it may be easier, but I'm going to try to point here. So in states 1A, this item up here at the top, that is the methamphetamine in this case, and that is also the same item that is depicted in 1C. And this is how it was found. It's just a close-up view so you can better see how it was found. This container here on the left of the photograph, that is where the cocaine in this case was located. That was found in that same location as the methamphetamine. Now, there's some talk about commingling drugs, mixing it together, and where it was found and all that. This item, State's Exhibit 4. You heard the testimony. This was not tested by FDLE. So the officer testified that he did a field test, and it field tested positive for cocaine. At the end of the day, maybe it's cocaine, maybe it's not. Mr. Beecham's not charged for this substance, for whatever it is. But this substance is important because it directly links Mr. Beecham to these items. And it directly links Mr. Beecham to these items that he is charged with.
That's not.
Rule the objection to start. Chance to make your argument. Okay?
It directly links Mr. Beecham to these items because you heard the testimony and you can see the powder. It's all the same powder. And the fact that it was actually mixed together is a good thing because if it was different, you would see the difference. And if you compare the color, it's different than the other items. But this white powder came from this container that was located with these items that Mr. Beecham was charged with, as well as the bag that was found in Mr. Beecham's pocket. And that's important because as you heard the testimony from Officer Zip, he had the same exact thing in his pocket that was located with these other items. Now you heard some testimony about oxycodone, marijuana, fentanyl, things like that. You heard the testimony and saw I showed some exhibits to Officer Zip. There were some other items that were found along with these, but those items, again, were not sent to FTLE. They were not tested. So Mr. Beecham was not charged with those items. We talked a little bit Monday about some rules, and when I talked about objections, there's rules we have to follow. Typically, I'm not allowed to present items of evidence that Mr. Beecham is not charged with, the oxycodone in this case. So when I had Mr. Officer Zip on the stand and we were talking about what was found originally, he wasn't hiding anything. He wasn't hiding the fact that there were these pills found as well. I'm not allowed to present that to you. Mr. Beecham decided he wanted to talk about it, and at that point, now we can talk about it. And that's why I got back up on redirect and we were able to present it to him. I only bring that up because Mr. Officer Zip wasn't hiding anything. He wasn't being evasive. It's just the rules didn't allow me to do it until Mr. Beecham talked about it himself. I say that all to say is, again, Mr. Beecham's not charged with that. Don't take that into consideration. What he's here for today, simply these two items, methamphetamine and the cocaine. And the importance of this other exhibit is because it directly ties Mr. Beecham, not only because he's in direct physical control, the ability to reach around and control those items, but because he actually had some of those items on his person. Knowledge of an item, the judge will tell you that the state has to prove that the defendant knowingly possessed these items. And there's no way for me to prove the knowledge that's in his mind. It's impossible. You have to infer knowledge. And you infer knowledge based on the other circumstances in the case. In this particular case, you can infer that the defendant knowingly possessed the items in the back of the car because he had.
Overrule this argument. You'll get a chance to respond.
You can infer that he possessed the items in the back of the car because he had one of those items in his actual pocket. I submit to you that this case is not complex. I have proven the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. In a moment, when the judge reads you those instructions, you'll see that, and I ask you to find the defendant guilty as charged. Thank you.
You're ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't able to hear me quite clear today, state wants you to believe that I possess the two drugs that were never on me. You heard from the officer, I wasn't charged. I mean, with those items wasn't on me. The one he alleged was on me, say it was in a bag. He wasn't able to show you the bag to show you that it actually was the same bag. And like we said today, we're in a day of technology. We're in a day and age of technology. There was a camera existing, somehow I miraculously cut it off. On top of cutting this camera off, the items were in, like y'all seen, a container, and he said a brown paper bag. It's easy to fingerprint those items. I was in the car with another occupant, and in a jointly occupied vehicle, you cannot infer.
Objection, Your Honor, misstatement of the law.
Well, I was in the car with another occupant as well, as you heard the officer say himself. And he said he lost sight of the other occupant when he was taking me out of the car. and we somehow lost all the footage of any items being found, and no items were scientifically tested to prove my, knowledge of these items, to prove that I had any ability or ever even came in contact with the items. They were in a brown paper bag, something that can easily be tested for prints. And he also said, you saw the containers. And so I can't dispute the weight or any of that because I didn't even know those items existed. And that's what I was trying to prove to you guys today. And the other items that supposedly ties me to the drugs allegedly found in my pocket, like we say, it wasn't video captured because I turned the camera off. That was a discrepancy of saying that he allegedly found something and put it with some other stuff to say that I had a bag or known of another bag, but I'm not even charged with it. So I had a drug on me that connects to other drugs, but I'm not charged with that drug. I'm just charged with 2 of the other drugs out of the bag. If that makes sense. That's what the state is trying to get you to believe today. Or whatever was allegedly found, whether it was a drug or not, if that makes sense. So I'm not even getting the sense of how the state is trying to elaborate this, but I know that it was a way to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I had knowledge or was able to access dominion and control over something that was, like they're saying that was in my reach, but it was in a car with another passenger was in the car with me. And therefore, I'm asking you guys to find me innocent of this case because there was no prints or anything that connected me to those drugs. Thank you for your time.
Talked a little bit Monday about possession, whether it can be joint. Yes, there was another person in this car. He'll have his day in court. Another jury will determine his fate. Just because there's 2 people doesn't mean multiple people didn't possess these controlled substances simultaneously. Mr. Beecham said there's no scientific testing done. Well, that's not true. You heard the testimony from Sam Catalani. That's scientific testing. He told you that scientific analysis told you that, or confirms that this is cocaine and this is methamphetamine. Same white powder, same packaging, both with the controlled substances and in Mr. Beecham's pocket. And that's the key to this case. Simple as that. This isn't a case where it's in a different packaging, it's in a different container, it's a different substance. It's the exact same thing. It's the same white powder and it's packaged the exact same way as the stuff that's in the back, in the backpack, in the back of the car. As far as the body camera goes, you heard the testimony as to why there's no footage of this. Mr. Beecham's the one who was not cooperating. He was struggling with his officer, and Mr. Beecham's the one who accidentally turned Officer Ziff's body camera off during that struggle. It's as simple as that. It's not any big conspiracy that Mr. Beecham wants you to believe. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen, and I ask you to find the defendant guilty. Thank you.
A little while later.
Everyone can have a seat. Jurors can have a seat. It's my understanding that the jurors have reached a verdict. Is that correct? Who's the foreperson?
I am.
Mr. Cannell? Go ahead the verdict form. All right. Mr. Beecham, you'll rise. Madam Clerk, if you'll publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court, 14th Judicial Circuit, of the State of Florida, in County, State of Florida versus Josiah Marquise Beecham, case number 23 CF 4175. We, the jury, find as to the defendant, Josiah Marquise Beecham, as follows. Count 1, the defendant is not guilty. Count 2, the defendant is not guilty. Would say we all dated the 7th day of June 2024. 4 person, Nicholas Fennell.
Does anyone wish to have the jury polled?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Have a seat.